welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Movies and Train Studios. Today we are talking about the Scream movies because of the brand new release of Scream 6 that just hit theaters this past weekend. I was fortunate enough to go see it, and I'll let you guys know my thoughts later on in the video. Do be warned though, there is spoilers for all of these movies because we are talking about all 6 of them. We're ranking and reviewing them here in this video. So stick around to see my rankings, and if you don't want to hear spoilers because you haven't seen any of these movies, just skip through the chapters if I remember to put some in. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. Starting off at the bottom of the list, easily for me, is Scream 3. This movie, it's probably the most poorly written of the franchise. It's got one of the more least memorable ghost faces. He isn't even that bad, he's just very forgettable because of the movie that he's in. I think the twist that they use him in, with him being the film director, but then he's Sidney's long-lost sibling, is just kind of dumb. Unfortunately, of course, that's just how the movie went. I think Sidney herself was pretty good, but she didn't even show up until like the last hour of the movie, which wasn't for the film's benefit. And honestly, there's not a whole lot to really remember about it, but for a movie that's at the bottom of the list that's just a 3-star movie, and that's the worst of your franchise, that's not bad at all. So, Scream 3 is at the bottom, unfortunately, and if you're talking about this movie being at the bottom of your list, you have to at least mention Gail's terrible haircut. Up next at number 5 is Scream 4. This one, for me, isn't very memorable in, like, any way. I don't really know what it is about it. It's got a great cast, some pretty good killers. Well, one really good killer, the other not so much. Charlie is pretty forgettable. And then, of course, seeing the characters back is really fun. Kirby is a great new character. Love what they did with her in this one. I think this one falls flat, though, is unfortunately just the last third of the movie. I think the way it's shot as well isn't great. There's like really low light, and it's not great. But the third act, like I said, the third act in the hospital is just not all that great. I love the twist with Jill though. The twist with Jill, and like, I don't know, like, whatever reason, that last 20 minutes to half hour just didn't really work that well, unfortunately, for this one. So it's at number 5. Up next at number 4, believe it or not, this one used to be my number 1, but Scream 2 is my number 4. This one, I don't really know why I had this at my number 1 for the longest time. Must not have just been the biggest fan of the first Scream until I had to give it a rewatch. But yeah, I thought this was the best of the entire franchise. Not really sure why again. Like I said, I really love the opening. The opening is awesome. Like, one of the best cold opens of the entire franchise. And I will die on that hill. It is an awesome cold open. Seeing all of the characters, not just the new characters, all of the characters in this new setting of this college campus, that was really fun. What they do with Randy in this one was really cool as well. Kind of think that they killed him off a little too early. And the killers in this one are actually pretty good. Nancy Loomis, she was pretty good, but I really like the other killer. I don't remember his name for whatever reason. I'll pop it up here. So, yeah, I really like the killers in this one. Sidney is at her best in this one, I'd say, as a final girl. She's awesome. Really like what they do with Dewey as well, and Gail. They're really fun. This one, I really like. Up next, this one used to take my silver medal, but Scream 2022, Scream 5, 5 Scream, whatever you want to call it. This one, I know might be like one of the top 2 for most people in this franchise, but for me, there's just one thing that holds it back. And I'll get into that. Again, spoilers. I've already said spoiler alert for all of these movies. This one is just a great movie. I have very few issues with it, even though it's still like a 4-star movie. I have one big issue. Actually, no. I have like a nitpicky issue and then one big issue. This one, I really love the setting with all of the new characters. Love all the new characters, by the way. Sam and Tara are great. Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega performed those characters really well. Gail and Sidney are both great. Dewey, for the most part, is great. And this one has some pretty good kills, I'd say. There's nothing creative in this one, unfortunately. I know a lot of people say, oh, like, those kills are disgusting. I hate watching those, like the one where the kid gets the knife stabbed through his neck. Like, that's the most disgusting kill you've ever seen. Yeah, try that next time you see Friday the 13th movie. On to the negatives for this one. And I think this one falls a little bit flat because of what they do with Dewey. Dewey is actually my favorite character of the entire franchise, like up there with Randy. Love both of those characters. Dewey, I think this movie kinda messed up in just, like, I can pinpoint exactly where they messed up his character, and it's in the hospital scene. Both, like, all of the characters are rushing into this elevator, and Dewey steps 1 foot in and then turns around and says, "No, I'm taking him out once and for all." And then turns around, pulls out his gun, gets ready to shoot Ghostface, and gets a call. And then Ghostface pops up and stabs him in the gut. Dewey's not that stupid, and I get that he was kind of the goofball character in the past few movies, but the way that you were handling him earlier in the movie, that doesn't really add up to me, at least. But again, I still really like this movie. It's very good. I thoroughly enjoy this movie. The final act as well. I keep forgetting to mention the final act. It's great. Other nitpick that I have with this movie, though, the Ghostface reveals. Okay, one of them I think is actually pretty good. Leads into the 6th movie, which we'll talk about in a second, which is Richie, the boyfriend. Okay, this one, you know, some people say, oh, he's predictable. I don't care. I think he's actually a pretty good Ghostface. I thought he was a pretty good pick, even though I kind of saw it coming. I was like, oh, he's gonna be Ghostface in the end. It was like, yep. He's still good, though. He's still pretty menacing, honestly, for the most part. The one that I don't like is Amber. And honestly, she's probably my least favorite Ghostface, down there with Charlie from Scream 4. And maybe some of the others that we're talking about in Scream 6. But yeah, definitely one of the weaker Ghostfaces, for sure. She just came out of nowhere and was like, oh, ho, ho, I got a gun, and shoots someone in the head. It's like, I don't see, like, where there would have been red flags for her, because they didn't develop anything about her, and she was very pointless in the movie other than just being one of the Ghostfaces for some reason. And her plan as a Ghostface wasn't very good either, I don't think. So, yeah, it holds it back a little bit, and it's just a nitpick. I know some people might like the character, but for me personally, I'm not a fan. Taking my silver medal, my runner-up, is Scream 6, the brand new movie in the franchise. This one, I've actually thought about it a little bit more, and I think I kind of gave it a little bit too high of a rating initially. I think I gave it like a high A- in my Letterboxd review. Thinking about it a little bit more, it's like a lower, no, it's still like a higher end B+, but it's still not as great as I had initially given the rating to. I still thoroughly enjoy this movie. Love the setting, love the sisterhood relationship again, love what they do with Chad and Mindy. I think they improved their characters significantly from Scream 5. All of that was great. Really love the new setting as well, like I said. Kind of redoing Scream 2 in the essence that it's supposed to be for college. And I really enjoy seeing Kirby again. And Gail, what they do with her in this movie is actually pretty good, and I think she was, like, behind what they did in Scream 1 with her. I think she was probably at her best in this movie. Where this kind of goes wrong is, you know, like, the last 15-20 minutes, I think there's some things that just kind of don't work all that well. Main thing here, and this is where it gets into spoilers, obviously, main thing here is that the main characters have zero stakes at all. What makes me a little bit mad, and I know a lot of people were speculating that Gail was going to die in this movie. She doesn't. Okay, she doesn't. die. Which, looking back at Scream 5, makes me even more mad that Dewey dies, because if you're gonna kill off Dewey, why don't you just kill off Gale? I'm sorry. Like, some people might like Gale a little bit more than Dewey. I don't. And that just might be me being sour that Dewey died, but Gale didn't. But come on, like, if you're gonna kill off someone like Dewey, why not go ahead and just kill Gale? And Gale, I'm gonna argue that Gale was gonna go out in even more of a brutal way than Dewey did. Dewey just was stabbed once and then knife was twisted. Gale got gutted. Literally, like, blow after blow in the stomach, gutted. Didn't die. Okay. Then, as I said, all of the main characters. This was kinda stupid. All of the characters, like, at least get shot or stabbed twice, I want to say. They all survive. Like, come on. And, okay, another thing. You might be saying, oh, yeah, this was just for the twisting your expectations or whatever, but the killers were so... Besides one of them, I want to say, because the detective, I wasn't really expecting, but now looking back at the red flags, it's like, oh yeah, I should have looked out for that guy. Anyway, the detective is one of the killers, and then his daughter Quinn, and his son, but not really supposed to be son, Ethan. Actually, no, that wasn't even his name. Ethan wasn't even his name. But, like, that kid that everyone was like, oh yeah, you're Ghostface. He was like, they threw out something. It was like he was trying to help Mindy because she got stabbed on the subway, but I don't know who he was trying to throw off because he and Mindy were the only ones at the subway station. Nobody else was besides, you know, like the normal public. So I don't know who he was trying to throw off there, but whatever. So yeah, the one that everyone thought was going to be Ghostface, a character that died, Quinn, gets killed by a Ghostface. And it's like, I don't think so. And like, there's so many little plot gaps that it's like, okay, so Ethan was told to stay with the group when they're going to Central Park and trying to pull out Ghostface, trying to get Ghostface to come after them, and and Ethan's there, and then the detective's also with them, and they took his car to go save Gale, who was in her apartment when Ghostface was attacking her. So that leaves Quinn, which by body build wouldn't be able to take out this big muscular dude that was at Gale's house, that she slit his throat and like chucked through a window at Gale. That wouldn't work at all. So I don't know. This movie is really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it for the most part. There's just some things that, yeah, thinking about it afterwards, it's like, that wasn't as great, I think, as it could have been. I think some of the writing should have been a little bit better, especially for the last 20 or so minutes. Other thing I forgot to mention, actually, the character of Chad, he gets turned into, like, Swiss cheese in one scene. They got two ghost faces, and they're just, like, they've got both of their knives, and they're stabbing him in the stomach, like, literally turning him into Swiss cheese. Putting hole after hole into his stomach. Okay? And it was, like, his whole body, like, messing him up. And then he lives. Like, there's no stakes for these characters. And it kind of sucks because it was like, oh, that would be ballsy if Chad was killed right there, because, dang. I wouldn't be mad if he died there, because, man, that would have been a really good time to die in this movie, but, like, nope, they didn't do that. Sucks. But still thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I really like it. But easily my number one is the original Scream from 1996. This movie is an all-time classic in the horror genre. Genre bender, makes fun of the genre, has an amazing cold open, has an amazing final act, has great characters. Just one of the all-time classic horror movies. One of my absolute favorite horror movies. I don't even know, like, what else would be number one. What else would you put at number one? Certainly has to be this movie. If you were to ask me, easily the best is Scream 1. It's got amazing killers as well. Stu and Billy are classic. Love the rules that Randy has, like, oh, don't have sex, don't do drugs, don't say I'll be back, don't answer the phone, like all of this classic stuff. And this movie is just so good at perfecting all of it. So yeah, Scream 1, Scream 1996, whatever you want to call it, comes in at my number 1. So let me know your rankings down below in the comments section. Let me know, do you love this franchise? Do you think it's overrated? Do you outright hate this franchise? Do you think that they're all bad? Or do you love all of the movies in this franchise? Let me know all of that down in the comments. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. And I'll catch you guys next time.